I suddenly start to take my clothes off or ask you for extra blanket, it means that I'm experiencing a condition that some of you are probably not. If I am not speaking, I can't choose my words, so I'm using the very basic um, individual on a spectrum, a child, right? And you cannot speak. I'm taking my clothes off. You're all going to be looking at me and think that I've gone bonkers, right? But your job is to find out why I'm doing that and then reduce, turn down the cooling, right? So, public space. One, what changes can you make? I've come to order food, like when you said, and I'm standing in line, and all of a sudden I move from that line because of many reasons. It could be that I'm impatient, it could be that I don't understand turn taking, so I'm not able to stand still. What are you supposed to do in that instance? It's not to start screaming, woman, hold your child, and all of that. What you should actually do is be empathetic, which we lack, be compassionate, which a lot of us lack, and then find a way to move me up to the line without other people screaming at me saying, wait your turn, I came here first. Or you create a different line, how they do with airlines, for individuals who have additional need or can't wait. Okay? So those are some of the things. You go to the movie, there are some cinema houses that we work with. What do? They offer us a private screening space. So it's not the conventional one. So I need you to be thinking about whatever you call a public space. If I go to the playground, it's a public space. What accommodations can you make for me in a public space, a playground? Okay, you have the picture. Now, if I'm looking at workplaces, your question was, what are barriers to inclusion in a workplace? There are loads and loads of barriers. Now, you may have individuals on the spectrum who are actually vocal, who can go through school. And so we miss their diagnosis, they've gone through, they've developed coping mechanisms, and they come into Vanguard newspaper, for instance. And then you ask them questions and they're responding differently. You do that a couple of times. What do you do? Oh, this person is stubborn. They don't ever listen. We have to get to the point where such terminologies are no longer the norm. You should be able to pause and process yourself and say, is there a chance? And in order to be able to do that and make that excuse, you must educate yourself. You must know what the signs are. You must know how behaviors that somebody on the spectrum as a child had has morphed into that a different response as an adult. So, for instance, again, if you take a lady who's on the spectrum, who lacked social skills, weren't able to integrate with others, because this is a real life example I'm giving you. That lady gets married, okay, and is unable to play with their child. The child is a human being, right? And they need to socialize. So what happens? Because there's a void in social skills, it transfers to the child. And so you have to teach that lady how to play with the baby. And so go back to your adult who's on the spectrum, working with Vanguard newspapers, who has limited or not social skills, who is not able to present their case to you at the rate at which you're expecting, because a lot of these things are social norms that we have defined. And so you begin to push them away. How about creating space? How about saying to them, you know what? I see you, I hear you. What help do you need? Can you explain to me what I need to do so that you can get your job done? Okay. Another real example, very personal and close to me, the way we respond to questions sometimes. I had an experience with a 20, between 20 and 22. who was in an office, an autistic female adult. The colleague would one day came to work and started taking things and throwing in the bin. And this lady asked, Sholape, what are you doing? Sholape says, I'm coming. And she carries on throwing things away. Sholape, what are you doing? I'm coming. Long story short, next thing Sholape comes to my stack of paper, picks up my paper, and does what? What do you think I'm going to do? I immediately hold on to my paper, give Sholape a backhand so she releases my paper and I go because I cannot communicate my needs, right? Because you've been responding to me. How about when people ask us questions, we respond appropriately? Don't, change your language, be more direct because a lot of people on the spectrum, one thing that they need in order to survive is that directness. So if somebody asks you a question, it doesn't matter who it is because you don't even know who's on the spectrum unless they tell you, especially as an adult, right? So if I say to you, Mr. Lagbaja, how are you? Don't ignore me. Answer the person. It may be as simple as saying, I'm not ready to respond now. Can you give me 5 minutes? And so if that person is on the spectrum, okay, they will come back in 5 minutes, mind you, because some of them are that precise. If you did that with my daughter, she will come back in exactly 5 minutes and ask you the same question. And so there has to be a paradigm shift for a lot of us adults. I can go on and on, but I hope and your understanding, Chioma, you said yes. So these are some of the things that we need to do. Change our method of communication.